Hi, I'm Nick and this is the TBT channel. Welcome to today's video. Now, the reason for this video is quite early in the morning still, but I had a dream. Last night I had a dream and it's kind of been on my mind for a little while. So today I'm actually taking a few minutes out to do this video and to set up what I had my dream about. Now, today is Wednesday. I'm hoping this can go out today. I'm hoping the YouTube people will say it's suitable, because I will be doing all my shooting in a sensible way, in a safe environment with proper backstops, etc. But it does have an air rifle in it, so we'll see. But I'm hoping I can get this out today, because tomorrow I'm off to Le Mans for 10 days, and I think this is something I have to try before I leave. Now, it is to do with the Weihrauch HW30s. Now, we all know this gun. If you follow this channel, if you watch this channel, there's a good chance if you didn't have an HW30s, you've got one now, or you're going to have one very soon, because quite frankly, this is the only air rifle most people will ever need. It's this one, my one here, is running at 9 foot-pounds in 2.2 with one of our new F1 TBT F1 kits in it. Link below if you want to get one of those. People say 9 foot-pounds, that's not very much. It's plenty. It really is plenty. If you saw my Lego Man, where's my Lego Man's? My Lego Man video from a few weeks ago, you'll have seen in the back garden here from a bench, I was shooting these out to 60 yards with a 2.2 9 foot-pound HW30. It's an amazing gun. You will also have seen, if you follow the channel, if you watch the other videos, my DNT Hydra HS225 thermal unit. Now, this is wonderful, it's delightful and it's brilliant, and I put this on my Reximex Meta Plus PCP. Now, I've got that currently running at 22, I think 22 or 24 foot-pounds, something like that. It'll go higher, it'll go lower, but that's where I found it to be the right noise level, right power, right trajectory for what I need. And I wanted to use it with my thermal unit. Well, I say mine, this isn't mine. I've only got it to test. I've got to give it back. I've got to give it back. I've got to give it back. I've got a bit of a vol problem. We have a vol problem. Right here in this garden over winter. I don't know, it's just gone a little bit crazy. In fact, I'm just going to insert some of the vol stuff here just so you can see what I'm talking about. This is the bench where I was sat, and here we go. This is the vol issue I'm talking about. So we've got vol hole there, vol hole there, a vol hole here. Over here we've got vol holes. We've got motorways running between the vol holes. We've got chickens following me because they love the vols. I think they're getting some of them, but nowhere near enough. But it is just an absolute vol catastrophe here, and that's what I want to start having an effect on with my HW30 and my Hydra HS225. So there's vols everywhere, it's crazy, it's vol city, motorways all over the place. And I put this thermal unit on my Reximex Meta Plus. The problem is my Reximex Meta Plus weighs approximately the same as a small church. It's great off of a bench, and it's got that little monopod thing at the back there and the bipod at the front, so for precision shooting it is perfect, but reacting to small moving targets, not so great. So I thought, well, what can I do about that? What can I do about that? The obvious answer is an HW30s. These things are everywhere, all around me. I've been using this as a spotter an awful lot, and I was sat last night just watching them over by that tree over there, scurrying around the bottom of the tree, less than 10 meters away from me. And I'm thinking, well, I don't need 22 foot-pound for that. I don't need precision accuracy at 70 yards for that. What I want for that is something that's going to smack them hard at 10 meters. A 9 foot-pound in 2.2 is more than enough for the job. So what I want to do is fit this onto there. Now, this is rated for up to 50 BMG caliber, okay? 800G, I think, is what this thermal scope can take. So I contacted DNT and said, because people had asked me, you'd asked me, is it Springer rated? And they said, well, yeah, 800G, of course it is. I said, are you sure? They said, yes. I said, are you really sure? They said, we'll ask the technical department. Technical department said, well, yes. So I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to start off on the 30 because it's the perfect gun for me at the moment, but we are going to be moving up through the Springers and we are going to test that theory, but I have no doubt it'll be fine. A Springer produces recoil in a different way to a centerfire. A centerfire will give you what you think is big recoil, but it's all in one direction. Whereas a Springer, when you fire, getting technical now, when you fire a Springer, the first thing is the piston starts travelling forwards. Equal and opposite reaction, you get recoil backwards. That's surge recoil. Then the piston comes up against the cushion of air, hits that cushion of air, and then bounces back. So that takes it forwards. But then the piston goes forward again, so you get more surge recoil. So if you were to watch it exaggerated in slow motion, it does that 3 or 4 times in the firing cycle. And it's like shaking, not a baby. You don't shake babies. Shaking a rat, you know, when a terrier gets hold of a rat and shakes it, that's what it does. That's why some scopes can't cope with the recoil on a Springer. But to be fair, the thing that usually goes in a scope with a Springer is the wire reticle. And glass etched reticles have got over that problem. The old wire ones used to suffer. So when they say, yeah, no problem, this is solid state. There's nothing, it's all just chips and sensors and everything in there. So I really don't think it's going to be an issue. So we are going to put it on there and it's going to be different. So let's do that. Now, I am loath to take this scope off because, as you saw, using the mil dots, I was smacking them Lego men out to 60 metres. It's great, it is, but I can re-zero it easily. I can, and apropos of that, I've got a feeling this scope might actually go onto my BSA Super 10 ball barrel, because you might have seen last week I put my Optima Super Moonlighter on it, but I'm having problems with that gun. I'm having issues with accuracy. I've tried several different pellets now and the accuracy just isn't there. The best pellets I'm using so far are the QYS, and even they're not producing a group that I would expect from a decent PCP. So I'm going to be looking into that. I'm going to be working on that gun. I also want to try and take it apart and clean a few bits and other things. I've never taken one apart before, so that'll be exciting. Wish me luck on that. Now, that's got the scope off of there. The reason I'm using thermal on this rather than anything else is these are nocturnal little critters. So it is at night when they're coming out. When I come out in the evening, I'm spending more evenings than enough coming outside and playing with this thermal scope, looking over. I've got watching the deers, the hares over in the field there, all kinds of stuff. Somebody did make mention, and I have noticed now that there was something registering down in the garden last night or the night before, and I had this when it was on my PCP, and I kind of, okay, can't identify what it is, but it wasn't moving, and I thought that's odd. So in the end I got a torch and went down there. It was a dog poo. So they're nice and hot when they're fresh, and you can find them with your thermal imaging gear, and that's great. So if you want to do dog dirt clearance of lawns, that will certainly help you. Now what I'm doing, I'm just waffling, aren't I? I'm waffling. Hey, I don't know how long I've got this for. I've got it on loan, but the problem is, because I live in France, it's difficult to get it back to them because they've got a distributor in the UK, and that's where these are coming from. But next week after next, in fact, Alison and Chris, who work in the UK office, are coming over to visit. So they're bringing with them the DNT Thermalite is it the TNC 225? But it's a day-night thermal combination with all the bells and whistles and the ballistic doodahs and things like that, as well as one of their Zulus scopes. So I'm quite looking forward to that, because I'm going to get a chance to do all three next to each other, which will be good. That will be exciting, because this is all new to me. The whole night shooting thermal arrangement is still very new to me, thermal especially. I've used infrared and stuff like that in the deep distant past, and that was quite spooky. I don't know if I told you on a previous one, but my experience with the infrared was in a pitch black feed barn on a dairy farm at night, rat shooting. And you go in there and it's, you know, completely black, can't see the hand in front of your face, and you go into what you feel is a big space, and then you look through the scope, you switch it all on and realise you're surrounded by all these little scurrying figures. Quite creepy, but very, very effective. Now I'm just going to pop the mount onto the scope here. This is how I've been using this majority of the time as a spotting scope, so I've been enjoying that an awful lot, but haven't had the mount on it because it simply wasn't needed. And I am going to be taking this to Le Mans with me, not on a gun, but I'm going to be taking it, I'm going to fit it to a tripod, and I'm going to try and get some footage. I'm not going to try, do or do not, there is no try. I'm going to be getting some footage of the cars in certain parts of the track, looking at temperature signatures of the tyres, the engines, the brakes, even the track where they whoosh past, and hopefully leave hotter patches on the track as the hot tyres go over it, which I'll find exciting. I know not many people will, but I will. So I've got that on there, that's easy. Now, while I've got that on there, I did do a weight comparison with that Gertbeek scope I had on my Reximex Meta Plus, the Hawk thing. It was a big Hawk 30mm scope. This was just over half the weight, all in, just over half the weight. Now this is just a 2 to 7 by 32 scope, so considerably lighter. So that is 565 grams, and I'm replacing it with this, which is 561 grams. So 4 grams is nothing for most of us. So if you were to replace a 2 to 7 by 32 scope, which is the kind of scope you really want on a gun of this sort, with one of these thermal units, you're going to pay no price in weight. It's the same weight. Except, I also need this adapter. Let me just weigh that. That's 70 grams. So we're talking 60 grams more, which is not an awful lot. Now, the reason I need this has got a weaver rail adapter on it, and I've got a dovetail on here. So I've got a dovetail to weaver adapter, which is what I am going to now, before your very eyes, put onto this gun. Now, you will notice, undoubtedly, let me just pop that there for the moment, that this is going to make the scope quite high above the comb. It's going to be not a very low scope. But one thing that I have noticed, which is a really great thing about this, and I think it's going to be for all of the digital things I'm testing over the coming weeks, but the really great thing about that, and that's the wrong one, no, it's that one I want, because this is digital, it doesn't have parallax error. So with a normal scope, what's the word for it? A glass scope that you look through with all the lenses, you have parallax error possibilities, which is where if your head's not in perfect alignment with the scope, you will find that the scope, the scope reticle, if you move your head and keep the gun still, it can move across the target, introducing parallax error. You don't get that with this. You can look into this screen from any angle. It's like watching the TV. The people on TV don't move, it's your head moving. So there's no parallax error with this. Let me just see. Actually, it's not bad anyway. I'm just gonna switch it on and see if I want to bring that back or forwards. Hello, chickens. Let's try moving that back just a fraction. And then I think we should zero it. And we're going to zero it slightly different to how I zeroed it last time on the Reximex, because a few of you got in contact with me. It is early, I've not had enough coffee yet. Got in contact with me and said, try this, try that. And they were good ideas, so I'm going to be putting those good ideas to use today. Let me have a look now. That is pretty much bob on. I like that a lot. Right, that's on there. I think it looks pretty neat. The weight hasn't changed. It's still a very lightweight rifle. There is virtually no difference in weight between the setup as thermal as there was with a 2 to 7x32. That alone I find incredible. Let's get on and zero the rifle. This is a post-edit add-in. In the following bit, I've mentioned before, the audio on the scope isn't the greatest. I was trying to find a solution to audio, so I put a microphone on my picnic bench. I can promise you the HW30 does not sound like that. It was only when I listened to it back, it's like, what the hell is that? It's resonance going through this and into the wood and straight into the microphone because it was sat on there. Sorry about that. Carry on. You'll notice that I have the scope set currently at iron hot. That makes it a little bit easier for me to see the targets, because I'm just using my bench rest targets at 10 meters and they're in the sun, so the black parts are shining up hotter than the centers, and I'm using a white reticle with a dot so I can get some good precision. Now, the little arrows you can see there to the left hand side of the screen, they're my cant arrows. So when they're green, that means the rifle is canted correctly. That's a very useful thing. And over on the right hand side, at the moment it's fluctuating, so I'm on a picnic bench and I'm moving around, so it's moving about, but you can see it's practically on 0. And then my elevation, because the target I'm shooting at is slightly lower than where I am, I'm on minus 5.9 degrees downwards. So what I'm going to do is press my menu button, and then I'm going to come down to reticle zeroing. Now, here's one of the things that it is what you showed me before. Let me just click into that. Now, not that one. Come out of there, up one. All right, down one then. Freeze. Now this freeze section, so what I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to pop my pellet into the center . Now it's very important when using a Weihrauch Springer to remember to take off the safety. Into the center there. And now what I'm going to do is take it back into the center, and then I'm going to press OK for freeze. There. No, I'm going to take the freeze off because that hasn't gone quite where I wanted it. There. Now, I can move. I'm actually moving the gun around. You can't see it because the screen has frozen. So what I can do now is just take a quick walk down to the target and see where that pellet has landed. Bear with. Didn't take long because it's not very far away. And when I sit down again, it's not even going to move because I've got it on frozen. So what I can see is that I'm aiming at the center of that target, but the pellet has actually landed one target to the left. So let's bring it down to the X-axis. There we go. One target to left, and then it's actually, because I can see it now with the naked eye, there, and then come out of that one onto my y-axis and come up a few. No, I'm pressing the wrong button, bear with me. I'm still not great at buttons. There we go. Bring that up to there. That's it. So now press the menu button quickly to come out of there, down to save, press that, and we've come out of there. So now I'm going to cock and load the gun. Put it back onto the target, come back to the one I want to be hitting, and then there. Let's see what that has done. I'm just going to press my, hang on, zero, reticle zeroing. So, yes. Freeze, yes. No. Get it into the right place, then yes. Let's see where the pellet's gone this time. Absolutely brilliant. For those people that said to me, use the freeze function, thank you. And there you have it. What more can I say? This unit gets better every time I use it. I find functions that make setting it up even simpler. You're telling me functions, how to set it up even simpler. I am new to this. Many of you have been using these products for a while, and thank you so much for the help that you're giving me to use this. It's just making it a joy and a pleasure to use. Now, there is a link down below that will take you through to the DNT website. Because you're a viewer of this channel, you get really good discounts. I think it's 10-20% discount, something like that. Incredible. But that's across the range now. It's not just this scope, because they're sending me other scopes as well for review. You can get discount across the board using the link below. So please go have a look at that. If you're going to get one, get one. Let me know what you think of it. I want to know if you're as thrilled by these units as I am. I'm off for 10 days to Le Mans, and that is exciting. But I'm excited to get back. I'm excited to try the new products that they're sending me to compare this to. And that's what we're going to do next. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, hit notifications, come and see us next time, and we'll see what other nighttime shenanigans we can get up to. See you then, goodbye.